start now. Never mind. Welcome. As you enter, please press the like button so we can invite some more people. 6 persons here. Please press the thumbs up. Hi, Julian Collins. Bless up yourself. Welcome. Press the like button, guys, so we can invite some other persons, because I don't want to have to go back over. Once I get started, I don't want to have to repeat myself. So please, there are 6 persons watching. Please press the like. If you don't want to press the like button, don't want to get the story started, you can always opt off and come back another time, because today we are going to delve deep and I am only talking to people who need this. If you're just curious, if your curiosity is getting the best of you, hi Faye, just opt off, because you might not like some of the things I'm going to talk about. Okay? If you're in the room, press the like button, guys, please, and thank you. I'm only asking you to do that because I want the notification to go out. So you either share or you like. Don't feel any way about jumping off, because today, if I get 5 persons who really want to know and who have stories to share themselves, I'm good. I'm good. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. It's the quality of our discussion. Someone is going to be here tonight who needed this. Someone who have questions and was just waiting for some answers, and they need this. So if you're one of those persons, press the thumbs up button so we can invite other persons. I'm waiting for the notification to be sent off. If you want to share it, you can share it, but you're not compelled to share it. You can just press the thumbs up. And I'm waiting for 10 persons to get here, because I sent out the notes today, but a lot of persons did not see it. So how are you, Julian and Faye? How is your day, or how has your day been so far? And where are you from? Where are you watching from, Julian or Faye? I prepared some notes so I can stay on track. And I am sure there's no way I can get through all of this, but at least I'm hoping I can get through the beneficial parts. Anyone care to say where they're watching from? I sent a few persons notification today. I sent some WhatsApp messages to some people. Thank you guys for sharing. I am actually feeling very nervous, which is very strange. I'm very nervous, but I know whenever I feel nerves, or New York, okay. When I feel nervous, it's because it's so important. I think if it's not just important to me, but I just, Spirit is saying to me that this is a message that is well needed, and one that I think I hesitate to share. So I'm taking my nice, sweet time, and I'm going to be very slow because the people who don't just want to hear the juice or the dirt, and I don't have any juice or dirt to share today. Just some wisdom I'm dropping, and from my own perspective and from my own experience. And so I'm going to be slow so that the people who actually want this will wait for it. You know what I mean? Because over the years of doing YouTube, I realized people just want it bam, 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 bam. And if they're not getting it right away, they get bored. Those are not the persons I'm trying to attract. Those are not the individuals that I'm trying to share certain wisdom or knowledge with. Because listen, this is a lifelong journey for me. And it took me many, many decades to understand some things. And I'm feeling that comfort zone to share it with you guys. And also, it's a way for me to show my spirit guides that I am ready for the work and ready for the task. Because there's a expression, many are called, but few are chosen. Some of us are chosen at birth. And the people who are often chosen do not want it. They try to run away from it. You hear about the part in the Bible where Jonah, you know, didn't want to do what he was ordained to do. And he tried to escape. And as he was doing that, he was swallowed by a shark. That's a metaphor for the fact that many of us, when we are called to purpose or when we are chosen, we don't want it. And I'm one of those individuals who have fought for years, who say, I don't want this, leave me alone, forget it, until I had to reconcile myself to purpose. Okay. Now today, I said 10. I'm gonna wait for two more. I always like to start with 10. It's my magic number. Okay, guys. Please press the thumbs up if you're still here and it didn't do it so far. So where do I begin? Let me see if I can watch my notes so I can follow on my notes. So, in this, I'm hoping to talk about mystical wisdom, deep mystical wisdom. I want to talk about treasures because people often think that money is treasure, but money cannot be. Money is paper. Money came from a tree. The tree holds spirits. So the tree is far more powerful than the piece of paper. Okay. But we're going to talk about treasures, and we're looking at plants and their spiritual uses. And I'm going to share stories from time to time. I'm a storyteller. So we're going to share stories about, you know, magical things that happen. I'm trying to break down for you different ideology in terms of not just religion, but spirituality. And what I want to say here off the top is that when we're talking about spirituality, it encompasses everything: Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, and it well, those are religion, but within religion, there's still spirituality. Okay. And I'm saying that we're all physical beings. Spirit lives within our physical being. Just the fact that a man and woman gets together and lay down together in bed or wherever they do to the bushes or whatever, that transfer of semen to the lady's body is spirit. The semen is spirit. Okay, so in the Bible, they said that Mary had an immaculate conception. Well, if you look at it at the surface, it doesn't make any sense. But it does make sense that the spirit that was transferred to her body from her husband, is what create what they call it the God. The God is in all of us, and that is spirit. But the spirit, everybody, in my opinion, is born with spirit, a spiritual guide. Okay. And the people we meet on earth are here to help us on our way. So before we're even born, Faye, long before you ever met Jenny, This day was ordained and fate. Long before today, we all have spiritual guides and we have individuals who are journeymen who help us to figure out some things. So I have my own spirit guides that I'm born with, and I also have mothers, spiritual mothers or fathers who help me understand, and they're put in place, they're put in our way to help us navigate, to find our path so we can come to our full enlightenment. And not everyone leaves this earth fully enlightened, sometimes because they're stubborn, sometimes because, of religion, whatever reason. But those who are called to purpose, those who are called to teach or to lead, you are going to get to your point where you're enlightened. All right. So at this point in my life, I'm not running away from it anymore, but I'm saying in the past, I used to be terrified of this thing that I did not understand. Okay. And it was spirituality. And at some point, when I started to understand that I cannot escape it, I was still saying, I don't want it, or I would be ashamed of it, until it got to the point where if I didn't listen or obey, because sometimes you will not be able, depending on who you are, you will not be able to say, no, I don't want this. Okay, you don't want this? Okay, I will put you through these tribulations. I'll put you through these trials until you have no choice but to surrender, because that is what the Creator asks us to do, is to surrender to will. And if we do not do it by free will, we'll be forced. Okay, so we're going to talk, little stories here and there. We're going to talk about energy transfer, and I'm going to try to go. Bless up yourself, Val. Good evening. Energy transfer. I'm going to give stories of experiences from some people, some horrible things that happened to people. But before we get to that, let us talk about chakra. Okay, the body is made up of 7 chakras. Okay, and I wrote my notes down because I don't want to spend too much time on it. Maybe in another session we'll talk about that. But the 7 chakras are root, and if you have a pen, you can write this down. Your root chakra, the sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra, your third eye, and your crown. So different people are going through different things in life, because guess what? All of these different chakras in our body is out of alignment. So there are times when people are doing certain things. For example, a female is promiscuous. We look at her, we don't really know her story, that she had to endure certain type of abuse or violations. I don't want to say it because I want to keep this live up. And because she endured those things, there's spirit transferred into her body that now makes her go into this path where she's living this promiscuous lifestyle. And so that chakra needs to be realigned. Okay. Or heart chakra, some people do not love anybody. It seems like they're incapable of loving anyone because their heart chakra is out of alignment. Okay, and sometimes it's because of experience they have, there are bad things that happen to them in their life, and now their heart is broken and needs to be mended. And so there are things, there are plants, there, you know, things in nature that we can use to balance that out. And then your throat. People, if you have problems with communication, not just being physically being able to speak, but people misunderstand you, or you say something and you have no ill intention, but you hurt people. The people you come across, the people you live with, you open your mouth and you say things to people and you wound them. That is because your throat chakra is out of alignment. And there are things that we need to do. Then also, if it's out of alignment, you draw to yourself people who have those same problems. And then you have this sort of toxic energy that flows between one person or the other. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about spirit, primarily the power of spirit, and recognize spirit in your life, and also pray for discernment so that you can, not just hear from spirit to guide you, but also, connect with other persons who are like mind. Because in this time, When you look around and you see some of the things that are happening in the world, in your country, in your home, you have to look around to see if there's a hidden camera, because you're saying there's no way this is happening. There's absolutely no way this is happening for real, and it is happening. And I'm also saying our world has been pushed in a direction where we're asked to move away from God, whomever you perceive God to be. We're told that we don't need God anymore. We're told that look to man, they provide all the answers to all our needs. And man have become so, and man mean women too, have become so presumptuous that they want to take the place of God. Bless up yourself, Beville. Welcome, welcome. And when we understand these things on that larger scale, we're then able to find our place in this world to balance our heart chakra, our mind, our root chakra, and all of that. Now, today is very important to me because I came to Canada September 9th, 1989. I was the first person in my family, from my knowledge anyway, my blood relative that is, to have traveled outside of the country. So when I came here, I did not know anyone except the person that I came with, was my partner then. I didn't know anyone in this country. It seemed so big and scary because I'm a country girl. And although I lived in the city a few years before I came here, I was still very rooted in my upbringing. I grew up in deep, you know, country, right? When I was leaving where I came from, we didn't have electricity. We didn't have running water. Running water in the pipes. We'd have to go to the pipe to catch water, or my aunt would always have these drums. And when the rain falls, it would go in the drum, and that's how we primarily get our water. They were still milking the cows for milk. We didn't purchase those things. We didn't go grocery shopping. We literally lived off the land. That's where I came from. So going to the city, which was Spanish Town, I lived there 5 years before I came here. And so moving from country, to the city, but still having a very sheltered life. But I'm going to say, from the time I was a little girl, I would have these things happen to me. And when I would share it with people in my family, bless up yourself, Time Kitchen. How are you? Bless up. When I would try to share this with people, they would say, especially the young people, they would say I was lying. I never understood it. Imagine being a young girl and hearing people, hearing words, hearing people talk to you. Now, we hear people say that they're hearing voices, and we hear that they're mentally ill, but not every person. Happy Sabbath. Wow, Jay Brown, that used to be my initial some years ago. That was my former name, Jay Brown. Yeah. So imagine hearing voices. You are afraid to say that to anybody because they'll think you're crazy. But growing up, they used to call me a nickname that I'm not going to really say here because I was always what is perceived to be talking to myself. And I would have these dreams, and I have shared before that when I would tell the adults my dream, they would buy this thing they call Japan, and they would win. Let me tell you, win, 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 win every week. But they only understood it for what numbers they could get out of it. So I grew up with this, and I didn't like it. Um, I left from Jamaica and came to Canada. And let me tell you, I had some experiences that are mind blowing, not just spiritual experiences, but physical experiences. And this morning, I told you guys I was going to come live and talk about, certain things today. But I forgot last night. I didn't remember. In fact, I didn't remember today was the 9th. And when I woke up this morning and I went into my kitchen in my bathroom, and again, people, when we're talking about spirits, I want you to understand that the spirit is around everybody. Everybody has spirit with them. Whatever you call it, Holy Spirit, whatever it is. Remember, in our tradition, we have voodoo, which is from Haiti, and a lot of our people love to demonize it. You demonize something you don't know nothing about. You have voodoo, you have Obia, you have Santeria, that is Cuba. You have Illuminati, But listen, every religious sect talks about spirit. Okay, understand that we are spiritual, physical beings with spirit living within us and outside of us. If we understand that, and we know everything is energy, it's all energy. So I want to talk about transference of energy and share stories so you can understand what that means. Okay, but before I get into that, I want to first share some herbs with you guys, some sacred herbs. Now, when we hear about herbs, we think about things like food, or we think about herbs that we use for tea or for baths or whatever. But we don't understand that everything you consume can also be used spiritually. Let me repeat that. Everything that is edible can be used spiritually. And some of these things that we eat, we need to use those things to protect us because we cannot physically see what is around us. But if you could, you'd be too scared. So thank goodness we don't see everything. All right. So these herbs, I call them heavyweight, heavy lifting herb that I have to have, not just to use in my food. And some of these are not used for food, but some of the herbs that I use for food, I also use it spiritually to cleanse my body, to balance my chakra that I was talking to you about earlier, to remove negativity in my house. And I want you guys who are Christians or who are religious people to go back to the text that you have and pay close attention to it. Because remember, I think I have some notes here, something about some of the herbs that I'm going to talk about are listed in record from back in the time in Egypt with Pharaoh and all these people. Some of these herbs, when you read the Bible, was used to clean the temple. Some of these were offered as incense, and therefore, as things were in the beginning, so shall it be unto the end. All of these things were these spiritual practices. We have abandoned them because society have evolved and emerged into different things. But the reason why they move us away from it, if we understood the power of some of these herbs, we wouldn't have people leading us astray. You wouldn't have some people who call themselves powerful, taking all the resources for themselves, abusing and neglecting and all these things. They wouldn't be able to do that because we would be so awakened. We would be so enlightened. And I can see now people are being blessings, Cookie Mama. People are more enlightened. Okay. So I don't want to drag it out too much. So the first one I'm going to talk about, okay, I'm going to talk about Palo Santo. These are chips from a tree. And this thing is very powerful. So in my last video, I talked to you guys about inviting a beautiful young lady in my home that came possessed. Okay. And I had a difficult time getting this spirit out of my house. And I talked about transfer of spirit, where someone was looking for me for years. And when that person died, that person transferred his spirit into this person, and I invited her into my home. This is no joke. I have videotaped this. I cannot share it right now, but maybe one day I will, for you to literally see. So I'm not just believing these things, I'm experiencing these things. And what I'm saying to you is some of you people, some of you individuals have come up against spiritual attack and you're unaware. Some of you are using words like, oh, I'm so salt, or I'm so bad lucky, and whatever. You're none of these things. You're just needing to be realigned, to center you, to bring you back to your center so that you can then walk the path that you're designed to walk. People have the power to do things, and people will take that opportunity to do things to you to throw you off your path. And it's not always very clear. So for me, for example, when I came to this country, someone gave me a letter, and I read the letter and I felt great empathy for that person. Now, keep in mind, I didn't understand it then. What I know now, I didn't understand then. When I read the letter, I felt so much compassion for the person. I kept the letter. And even the person who gave it to me, well, that person said this, like I would say, okay, John told this person to give it to me. So when John asked me for it, I lied and said that, oh, I got rid of it, but I didn't get rid of it. I had it because I felt compassion in my mind. I'm thinking when I come to Canada and I sort myself out, I'm going to help this person. And a series of things was happening in my life. When I say unfortunate events, one day I was talking to a person. This is where I'm saying we have journeymen in our lives that are set to help us on our way. Yes, yes, Cookie Mama. When I was talking to this lady, she said, I just don't understand. Why are these things happening to you? And what is happening in your relationship? It doesn't seem right because this person was my best friend. And then all of a sudden, everything was going left. And the person said to me, I'm going to ask my pastor to pray for you. And the pastor asked for a picture of mine. They don't live in Canada, they live in the States. And the person was I think like not Seventh-day Adventist, a Sunday church, but I was a Seventh-day Adventist person. But she said that the person was a prophet and that the person could look at your pictures and just pray for you and feel things. And the woman truly was gifted. This is why I say to people all the time, stop saying that God could never give you a message from me, because God can speak to an animal. God can leave a message for anybody. So, stop being prejudiced and stop being so arrogant, because listen, the journeymen or women don't normally come in the form that we think they should come. Okay. We don't get to decide that. So this woman um, tells the lady that she wanted to talk to me. And when I gave her my number and she called me, she says, have you ever gotten a letter from anybody in Jamaica? Because she said she went to her bed, she had a dream, and she dreamt that someone handed me a letter. And I said to her, yes, when I was leaving, you know, a fellow gave me a letter that this lady wrote. And I read it and I felt so much compassion for her that I put it in my bag. She said to me, take it out and get rid of it. Now, I'm talking about maybe 6 or 7 years after I came. She says, get rid of that letter. I saw it in my vision that the person gave you a letter and it was meant to destroy you, to make you go crazy. So, what are you talking about? The person who gave it to me, that person went mad. So, the person who she gave it to bring to me was crazy. So, when she said that, I was so frightened. So I went to get this letter and I went to my kitchen. I called someone and she says, oh my goodness, wet it and get it out of your house. And when I was pouring the water on the letter, the water could not go through it. It was just running off. And I'm like, it's not going through. The water it's just running off the paper. And she says, oh my gosh, it's parchment paper. And I said to her, what does that mean? She says, oh, that's what they use for witchcraft. So whatever the lady wrote in there, and I read, but listen, you see, when you're a person of faith, it doesn't mean that bad things can't happen to you, but the wicked and your enemy will never triumph over you. You hear me? Never. If you don't have your hands dipped in any blood, if you don't turn to any negative or evil entity for your blessing, for your delivery, or whatever, no evil can overcome you. So, of course, guys, I panicked and I threw this over the balcony of the apartment where I live. Now, let me tell you, if that ever happens to you, you burn it. But this is why I'm saying these things are important for us to teach and to share, because when you don't know, you don't get to destroy that yoke. You don't get to destroy that evil. And so I threw it over my balcony and just continued with life. But let me tell you, everything I put my hand to, everything I tried to do, guys, I have 4 degrees and I've worked, even in my area of, profession, I have worked. But let me tell you, it's like this thing drew all kind of negative things to me. Why I'm quiet, I don't get in anyone's way, I stay by myself. But always over when the promotion time comes, the people who get promoted would come to me, ask me for ideas, and then they would get promoted. And it didn't matter where I go. But every time I would take a trip to Jamaica and come back, all roads are cleared. And the spirit would always push me to go to the beach. Let me tell you, you people are living in Jamaica, you have no idea what the ocean means. Going to the ocean and dipping yourself 7 times, what curses that can break. But in the same scripture, it says, when Jesus cast out the demon out of, those demons that went into the pigs, when the person was cleared from those demons, it goes away and comes back with 7 times more powerful demons. So once negative energy seek to attach itself to you, it's a constant battle of protecting and clearing your energy, clearing your space, and so on and so forth. Okay. So stones, we hear these things come from the earth, and people manage to demonize things that come from the earth. These are crystals. Okay. Now you hear all kinds of story saying that crystals are evil. How can stones be evil? Remember, I tell you that it's all energy. So somebody who work obia and mean to use it to do evil, the same person that heals use the same thing that they use, the same herbs, they use the same oils. And I'm going to just give you some tips, perhaps by the end of this, of some of the things that you can make for yourself. So these things they vibrate. They give off energy that is used to protect. So these stones, I've always been attracted to stones, and I did not know why. I go to the beach, I would take these nice smooth stones, and I would bring them home until here's a story coming up. I'm at home. I was studying, trying to get my education to become a teacher. And I was in class one day, and this young lady came up to me. Well, one of my classmates that I was hanging out with, and she came to me. She gave me a magazine, and some of you guys know the story before. She gave me this magazine. Yes, Mama. And I'm going to read the comments afterwards. I don't want to get distracted. So she gave me the magazine, and she said, "Oh, I have to go. I have an emergency call, something with one of my kids." And so I kept the magazine for her. And a few weeks later, she didn't ask me for it. So I started getting sick, people. I started getting ill. All of a sudden, every time I try to take up a book to study, I cannot see anything. I cannot read anything. No matter how excited I am about starting an essay, as soon as I get into my house, that's gone. I started feeling like ants crawling over my face, crawling over my back. I was so ill. If I couldn't hold my head down, my head was I was dizzy all the time. I saw this First Nation man that lived on my building, and I was telling him that I wasn't feeling well. And I saw an article in the newspaper that every time the cities opened a new building, they would call this man to come and bless it and cut the ribbons and stuff like that, because he's a very spiritual person. So I said to him, I saw you in the newspaper, and I was wondering, do you charge to come to someone's house and to bless the home? And he said, I won't charge you. All I need from you is tobacco. In our culture, you either offer alcohol or you offer tobacco. So I said, okay, I'll get you the tobacco. When he came to my house, he came straight to the room because he asked me which room. At this point, I had to move out of my bedroom because every time I go to the doorway, I would feel like I was going to pass out. So he said to me, okay, he goes in the room and he comes back outside, and he said, you have grandfathers in your room. And I said, grandfathers, of course, that if anyone hears this, you're going to be creeped out. I said, what do you mean I have grandfathers in my room? He says, stones. So the First Nation people refer to these as grandfathers. He said, those grandfathers have protected you. But what he was saying is the energy radiating from all of these things. Even though I was sick, even though I couldn't stay in my room, even though I was about to drop out of college, the frequency that these stones were radiating, it was preventing me from going insane. And that was the intention of the person. So all he did, he said to me, you need to get some incense and you need to wash your floor. And he gave me some ingredients to wash my floor. Well, when I went to get the incense and the stuff that I needed to cleanse the space, my daughter is now 28 years old. And at the time, maybe she was 11. No, she was about nine, 9 years old. So I went in the room with my incense because she said, go to the four corners of the room and burn out the corners with the incense. When I went to the corners and start burning, I was okay. But she also said, he also said, read Psalms 23. And I knew that every time I had problems in my life, the Spirit would just put that on my spirit and I would always repeat it. So I was repeating it. And as I was repeating it, all of a sudden my vision went. I was literally blind. And I was saying to myself, whomsoever you are and whatever you are in this space, you are not going to get me to stop doing what I'm doing now. The Spirit got so furious, it blinded me. I called my little girl and I said, read this, read it, read the scripture. And as she's reading it loud, I'm going around the four corners of the room and burning the incense. And let me tell you, for 6 months, I was not able to stay in that room. And I slept in that room that night until I moved. So that was one of my early experiences to say, so spirits dwell within us, they dwell outside of us, and also people had the power to use nature against other people. Now, here's a part that's really nice. Bless up yourself, Adele. Here's the part that's very sweet. When I realized what happened, and he said to me, did someone give you something? Give you anything? And I said, I did get something from somebody. Somebody gave me a book. I started thinking about it. The girl just handed it to me. She left and she never asked for it. And I did not remember. So I called her up on the phone and I said, oh, by the way, you remember that magazine you gave me in class? And she said, yes. And I said to her, you forgot to ask me for it. I'm going to return it. And she said, no, I don't want it back. I said, really? She said, no, I don't want it. And she came off the phone real fast. So I figured out. He told me to destroy it. I got someone else had it. She borrowed it from me. She came to my place, saw it, and she borrowed it. So I don't want something for myself. I don't want it for her. And even though it was not intended for her, I just didn't want to see that something that could possibly hurt somebody stay in the position of another person. So I told her, get rid of it. She threw it out. Okay, so the person who gave it to me, I had some little time. Keep in mind, guys, at this time, I'm very, very sick. At this time, I'm at teacher's college, and every day I go, I spent the entire summer on my back. I couldn't walk. I couldn't barely attend to my children. I was very, very ill, and I was pushing myself to go. So I started college in September, and every day I would go, I would tell my professors, I'm not sure I can make it. I'm not sure, I'm too dizzy. I can't stand up. And they were saying to me, okay, since you're already here, if you leave by a certain time, by the mid-September, we'll hold your space until next year. But if you let the middle of September pass and you don't like fill out the paperwork to end the year, then you're gonna lose your spot. And then if you drop out because you're ill, you won't be able to come back. You have to go through the old program again, try to apply to get in or whatever. Every day I would push myself. Every day I would push myself and try. But when I met that First Nation man and he told me how to burn out my place and what to do, I started to say, whoa, something like an incense could be that powerful. So then I started researching the material because I asked the person where I purchased it, what was in it? It was all herbs and spice. And when I burnt those herbs and spice, spirit ran out of that space. And so for years, but here's the thing: if you're under spiritual attack by one person, your energy draws more of that. You draw more people who are wicked to you, and so you have to constantly be cleansing yourself. And so I would pray and fast over the years and ask for the spirit of discernment, because that was the only thing that was going to protect me I'm a very emotional person. I would meet people with problems. I would take on to them. I would, share love with them and whatever. And a lot of times they themselves were possessed and needed deliverance. And so every time I would be clear or cleanse my aura, I would attract more of it because of the people that I would be attracted to. I would be attracted to me on the bus, on the train, on the whatever. All started out because someone used their power to try to do harm to me and start this cycle. Okay. All right. So now let me go into some details now. Let me show you something. This stone is called lapis lazuli. Very, very powerful. I'm not going to go into too much details about this, but I'm going to explain how the stone is important. And we talk about the chakras. I'm going to read my notes here. So the lapis lazuli, it controls the throat chakra. If you find yourself having problems with communication, whether you're aggressive, whether you're someone who gets abused and you don't know how to speak up for yourself, this lapis lazuli will help to balance your throat chakra. Now, what we got over here, so this is another crystal. We're not going to talk about this one for now, but with this crystal, you have this copper. Listen, this thing is very powerful. Okay, and I made some notes on it that I'm going to give to you. Um, the example I was given was black kyanite. When it's wrapped in copper, it's used to remove negativity or negative energies from you. This is the same with this stone that's here. Just the formation of this coil, just using it this way, because what it does, it allows a certain frequency. This will heal that chakra, or let's talk about this. This will heal the throat chakra, but when you add the copper to it, it radiates a certain vibration or frequency that helps to heal that part that you want the healing from. Okay, and the example I was using it was a kyanite. When it's wrapped in copper, it's used to remove negative energy from you. The copper itself conducts, is a great conductor, not just of electricity or whatever, but it's a conduit for spiritual energy. Okay, the spiritual energy that surrounds and protect you from energy vampires. I'm sure you guys have heard those. Some people that you meet, they're energy vampire. Okay, whether it comes down from their generational line or because of things that they've engaged in or involved themselves in, they themselves, they look like human, but they're so possessed, they're taking over. And when they're around good people, they will attack you. Okay, and so these stones that come from under the earth, the real ones, because they're selling these fake things. We have some of these stones in Jamaica, and people just look at them like nothing. Especially people who live in the countryside. These things are so valuable. I've seen stones coming out of the earth when I was growing up that sparkle like diamond, but people don't really pay attention to it, and they don't recognize the powerful gift that these things hold. So when this stone is used, especially when you use it with the copper, to protect you um, from energy vampires that seek to drain you or drain your energy, and you'll see that in your relationship, you'll see that at work, people will just come and start problems with you for no reason. They're demons or they're possessed with these demons, and they can transfer it. Let me give you another example because a lot of things we're going to talk about in this. Let's just say you see something, you go outside and something terrible happened while you were out. You maybe saw an accident or you heard a sad story and it weighs so heavily on you that you can't wait to get home or call your friend to share it. You know what that is? It's a transfer of energy from that negativity that you see. And when it's weighing on you so heavily, you feel so terrible. You're looking for someone to download that on. And this is why you have to be very careful not to allow persons to download their negative energy on you. If you're a kind and compassionate person, you're going to want to listen to people, but you're going to take it on. It's going to be absorbed by you, especially if you're not protecting yourself. You're not wearing those things to balance you. You see people wearing this bracelet, they call it evil eye bracelet. Some of it is nothing, some of it people are cheating you and taking your money, because they're special stones that are, you don't need to do anything. They don't have to be polished. You just have to carry it on your person, and it works that way. It's about vibration, it's about frequency, it's about energy. Everything is energy. It's all energy transferring, sharing and resharing every single day. Okay. So these stones, when you use the copper, and keep in mind, guys, copper is just one of those elements that is found within the body. So if you're preparing your food in something that is a copper, you drink out of a container, prepare your food in something that's copper, it's actually good for your body to balance these hormones in your body. Okay. This vibrational frequency within you weigh you down. And so these things, they help to balance you. Blessings, everybody. These, yes, Cookie Mama said, wash them off. I'm glad you said that, Cookie, because guess what? When you purchase anything, once I touch it, it has my energy. My vibration is attached to that. And money is one of those the worst things for that. When people touch your money, there are things that you have to do, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in this. But these stones, once you get them, you purchase them at the store, you find them in your yard or in your ground or wherever you are, you have to cleanse these with salt water, because again, salt is that amazing compound from the earth that helps to cleanse you, to purify you. Anything you use salt on is purified. So you buy these things, you purify it with your salt water, and you wear it. You don't have to put it on your person, you can hold on to it. Okay. Copper enhances energy flow in your body. Okay. You closely wear it to your area, whether your root chakra or your third eye or wherever you think is out of balance. The closer you wear to that, the more likely you will balance that out. So if you just all of a sudden feel depressed, you have no reason to be depressed, or you have some financial problems and you've been thinking about it, and all of a sudden, there goes your energy, there goes your vibration. These are things that will help you to bring it up. We're close to the area that needs healing. And that's one of the things with our people. We need healing. A lot of our persons are so wounded from our generations past, and it's transferred down to us. And people also recognize their power to do certain things, and they use it. They don't use it to bless themselves. If you look at some of these individuals, they're poor and they're unhappy, and they have the power to use herbs to heal themselves, heal their body, mind, and spirit, and they choose to use it to hurt other people. There's nothing you can do about that, because these persons have opened themselves, have become conductors or conduit to evil spirits, because evil spirits cannot take you over unless you open yourself to it, right? So that's why you don't have to fear anything except fear itself, right? So I was saying earlier about the lapis lazuli. It's associated to the throat chakra. For me, it's a very important stone for me. Spirit have come to me and showed this to me. And one of the reasons why I needed it was because I didn't have voice. People used to verbally and physically abuse me, and I would remain quiet. I didn't want to hurt people's feelings, even when they were hurting me. So that needed to be balanced. And for many years, until I turned 50 years old, I didn't know how to say no to anybody. If someone was doing harm to me or hurting me, if I had to deal with it legally, I got very strong. But if I had to deal with it to say, speak up for myself and address these individuals, I didn't want to be a problem. I would remain silent. And when I got this, when Spirit brought this to me and showed me this is something that I needed to balance myself, I start getting my voice. Okay. So this is good for a pendant, for a chain. It doesn't matter how you choose to wear that jewelry. You keep it on your person. And there's so many more. Aventurine. Sure, you've seen these. Aventurine. These crystal, amethyst. And I'm going to tell you, these are all the stones to balance your chakra, the 7 chakras. So, and I'll put it maybe when I'm done with the live, I can type it as a comment and put them and tell you what each one is good for, because I don't want to take too long. Again, this one is surrounded with the stone to balance, to help the frequency flow, the energy flow through the stone. Now, I think I asked this question before on a live, and I don't think anybody answered me. And I'm going to ask again, what is this? In our African tradition, you see all kind of people wearing these things on their hair back home. In the African tradition, we used to use this as currency. And it is still very much currency. And again, in another live, maybe we could talk about that. So stuff like this, we need to know what it is for. They look like seashells. Anyone? Does anyone know what this is? I still can't do that. Hate to make anyone feel hurt, so I bear it instead. No, because when you put yourself in that position to take on all that abuse and you don't speak up for yourself, what you're doing is surrendering your agency, you're surrendering your power to other people. You cannot do that. You can't do that. Okay, so amethyst, agate, great cat eye. These are all stones used to ward off or protect you against unseen danger. And there's so much unseen danger around us. But they also invite wealth and prosperity. And again, wealth is what you define it to be. It doesn't have to be just money, it doesn't have to be material things. Wealth could be your health, but it's wealth, it draws that to you. Okay. It helps to regulate. Now, a lot of persons have problems in mental health. Um, some of these stones help to regulate your negative thoughts. They actually work, people. They work. Just like these incense work, different incense, and again, I'm going to write that out in a list. Different incense does different things. So frankincense and myrrh, I'm sure you guys know of this. And if it's a resin, it's much better than the sticks. When you burn that in a space, I don't care how depressed you are. When you burn Palo Santo in your space, no devil, no demon, nothing negative can remain in that space. And not only does it drive away, but it also raises your vibration. Suddenly you start feeling better without even understanding it. Okay. So I talk about the 7 chakras, and these are the level of consciousness. These 7 chakras, they help us to move from the lower self. And spirit cannot talk to you when you're in your lower self. You have to be open. So as a young child, when I would hear someone call my name, and I would look around, hear my name distinctly, and I would look around and there's no one. If there's another child with me, I would say, "Did you hear that?" And they would say, "No." Of course, I'd be afraid to say anything. Um, and as I got older and older, and it kept happening to me, sometimes I would hear something in my spirit, and moments later, there's someone here that's watching right now. There are times when the spirit would say, "Call her," and I get busy throughout the day, and there I have a message from her. And recently, I had a dream, well, a vision, because it happened while I was awake. And she contacted me and told me exactly what I saw in my vision. Listen, these things make me want to cry, okay? Because it's so awesome. And I feel so blessed to have these experiences. And what I'm learning from it also is that the people who are gifted, and we call it a gift for now, the people who are gifted with this go through all hell. So if you're someone who go through a lot of unfortunate things in your life, it is perhaps preparation. It's preparation for what God has in store for you. And again, we say the divine energies, the Holy Spirit, whatever who you perceive to be God. This is what you're being prepared for. Okay. I don't want to leave out anything. So we talked about the different stones that are good to regulate your chakra: adventurine, rose, tiger's eye, amethyst, red jasper, obsidian, and lapis lazuli. These 7 stones are good to regulate the different chakras. Because your chakra is blocked, it's going to manifest itself in different ways. So the imbalance could be your negative feelings, it could be your insecurity, it could be loneliness, it could be greed, it could be your stomach problems. If you're having stomach problems, yes, 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 Adea. It's Corey Shell. Keep this in your space. It's worth more than gold. And I'm going to leave that for now. The reason why I didn't say it off the top is because I want you guys to get into this attitude where you research, you go out and find the truth, because only the truth is going to set you free. Okay? So our aura needs to be cleansed and be cleared. Our chakras that are blocked prevent us from walking into purpose, prevent us from getting simple things, even your work. It's like, do you ever get the feeling like you're the first in line and you're the last served in life? Do you ever get the feeling like, it doesn't matter what you do, you're always the last person, or you train other persons, or you bless other people and you watch and see them get ahead of you? Chances are something negative is happening in your life. Maybe someone didn't do it to you, but it happened to your great grandparent, it happened to whoever. Be careful who you lay down with. If you're a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. Who are you laying down in bed with? Because when you lay down with these people with their generational curses, you know, they pass this on to you. And even after it's over and gone and you've moved on, you're going to spend years. It's taken me 34 years to break that X. First of all, I had to find out that there was something really wrong. And people would say to me, and one of the biggest mistakes too, when the person would say, "Oh my God, why are you so bad lucky? You're so smart, you're so this, you're so that. Why? At the time, I didn't know that as soon as the person would say this to me, I was supposed to shut that down, because even if it was true, every time someone repeats it, they say you're bad lucky or you're salt, or if you're saying it or other people are saying it to you, you got to shut that down, because the word is life. And if it's really happening in your life for real and someone says it, every time they open their mouth, they cast that spell back on you. Every time they open their mouth, they reconfirm it. And now this thing cannot be broken. So my trips to Jamaica, taking this, going to the ocean and coming back and the door is getting open. As soon as someone says it to me, it comes back. The door that was opening shuts again because someone confirmed this thing. And I didn't know how to remove this negative energy. Now, here's the thing. I was separated from my first husband. And there's a young man that was always calling my house to ask for him. But I didn't want to tell anyone that we were separated. I'm a very private person, so I wasn't going to say anything to this person. And he kept calling, he's not here, he's not here. I would always say he's not here. Until one day when he called me, and I said, he's not here. He says, why are you always taking up for this guy? He thought he was at my house and I was covering for him. I said, no, he's not here. And he said, oh, you should stop taking up for him because he tie you. And I said, excuse me? He says, you don't see that he tie you? You can't leave him? Well, people, I was separated so many times. I was in the church, number one, and I was brainwashed to think that if I, at the age of 23 years old, was to get a divorce, I could never marry again. So although I was so young, I was like, I can't be with another man because I'm going to go to hell. Because if you are married and your husband, even if you get a divorce and you remarry, you commit adultery. So I was labeled with this burden to say I cannot remarry because the church says so. And now this man is telling me, don't you see you can't leave him? I'm like, I didn't leave him because I'm not allowed to get a divorce. And he says, no, you didn't leave him because he tied you. I'm like, what do you mean tied me? He says, the food. I said, what food? But the thing is, people, I never used to cook. He was the one who would always feed me, always be feeding me. Even if we're separated, he would bring me food. The guy said, don't you see? And the things that he said, he could not make up those things. So I had this negative experience attached to me. Then this person told me that the reason why these things are happening in my life and I can't be free is because of what was happening to me. And here I am in the church, have no knowledge, no understanding of how to free myself from all these negative things that are happening in my life. Okay, so all the areas that were blocked needed to be cleared. And it took me all these years. Spirit would come and share things with me, and I would write it down. I would do my research, and I would use some of these products, and all of a sudden I would see things change. And whatever hold people had on me were broken until I was learning to say no softly and gently and eventually loudly, because again I was learning how to free myself. Okay, um so again, the root, the sacral chakra, solar plexus, the heat chakra, the throat chakra, third eye, and the crown chakra, which is like the top of the head. These need clearance. They need cleansing. And how do we do that? Something like patchouli is a fantastic herb. Patchouli draws money to you if you use it properly, if you know how to blend it with certain herbs. It's good to break jinx. So when I had a dream and the spirit came to me with the hand open and put the thing to me and show me, and someone says patchouli, I woke up and I researched it and found out it truly had spiritual gifts. It truly had the ability to provide for me what I needed to free myself. Okay, and this one is agrimony. Now this is a very difficult herb. Whenever you're looking for a herb and you cannot find it anywhere, ask yourself the question why, right? And this is good for spell breaking as well. It's good for protecting and reversing. So someone did bad things to you, you're unaware of it. It doesn't really matter. These are things you should be having in your. I keep them. I call these my. These are like 1, 2, 3. They're like in my weaponry or my arsenal. These are things that I use to cleanse my space. I made this and bathe in it, and people who I have met who have been thinking of ending their own existence. And when I listened to them, I could feel that in their spirit, saying, I don't have anything to continue or live for. And something as simple as a herb, when used at a certain time, can free you. Why would you not want to know that? Why would you say, oh, this is evil, and you don't know what it is? It's herb, and it's here for the healing of the nation, right? All right, let's continue. So patchouli, and I told you about the Palo Santo, something to have to use to burn out your space. It's a beautiful, beautiful scent. And this is one of those things. However, when you burn it in your space, it will invite positive and negative spirits. I'm going to tell you that. Certain incense, when you're burning it, you need to know what you're doing. You need to know what prayers to offer up as you're doing this. Because, as I said, spirits are around us and we can't see them with our naked eye. Some of us, after a while, can feel them. If I walk into a room and there's negative energy there, I know because my whole body breaks out in hives. My entire body will break out in hives if the negative energy is in that space. Some people are not so heightened, but I am because I'm an empath. I can feel things, I can feel spirits around me, and I used to be terrified of it. Here's another story for you. I was living in this house, was owned by a lady from India. And she had her altar, all they had the altar with all the different gods and goddesses and whatever. And I have no issues with people, whatever works for you, I have no problems with it. But she had her altar. And so I started getting dreams. I was living in her basement apartment, by the way. And I started getting these strange dreams. I was getting these strange dreams. There's a young lady at my church that was going through a hard time, and she would always call me to pray for her and pray with her. And every time I would pray for her, in my dream, I would feel like this person would be attacking me. I remember one night after I prayed for her and I fell asleep, the person said, every time I go for her, you're there. I was so frightened, I fell off my bed. And so as I was living in this woman's house, I was getting strange dreams about rice. People, if you start getting dreams about rice, pay careful attention. Rice is demon or evil spirit around you. If you see it in your dream, it's a warning to you that evil spirit is lurking around you, or evil people are trying to do harm to you. So in my dream, I was having these, always having these dreams about rice. So one night I went to bed and I dreamt that I was cooking rice, and the spirit came to me and told me to get rid of it, to destroy it, to throw it out of the house. And I frightened out of my dream. The spirit said, "Do not keep this in your house, because if you keep it in the house, you'll be feeding spirits." So I woke up, remember the dream, and it just went. And I was cooking, and I had my pot on the stove, and literally heard spirit said to me, "Remember, don't leave any. If you cannot finish it, throw it out." And I shared my dinner, and I forgot. And about a few hours later, when I went and looked in my pot with the rice, all messy, 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 like someone was playing up in it. I went to the landlord and I asked her what was her belief about rice and how they use it in their culture. And she says, "We offer it to gods, we offer it to our spirits." So the spirit wanted me to make rice, but when I make rice, those spirits would be attached to me because now I'm feeding them. This is why if you prepare rice in your household, do not keep it overnight out of your fridge. Put it in your fridge. And if you have a habit of making a whole bunch of rice, don't stop doing it, because spirits are attracted to rice. And it's not usually spirits from our own culture. Okay. So these things were coming into my household. These things were coming down because of what she was doing upstairs. Because of what she was doing, the spirits was coming down into my place until one day I was home, and the Holy Spirit came and really literally showed me, warned me. I eventually moved from there. So where we live is very important. When you move into a new space, you're supposed to clear your space. Who you invite in your home, and I know this, but I can't really say who the young lady was who I had to take into my household. I didn't feel like I had a choice. Spirit really brought her to me. But bad spirits led her to me. But the Holy Spirit was trying to teach me also how to deal with these things, how to break free myself from the connection to this energy that was trying to destroy me through this person. It's so complex, guys. And I just wanted you guys to know that you're not insane. Sometimes you say your mind tell you this, or your mind tell you that. No, it's spirit that's talking to you. Okay, you see a dream, especially if the dream is reoccurring, if it happens more than 2 times, 3 times max. If the dream happens 3 nights in a row, pay careful attention to it. Now, to the person here, you're going to also recognize this is for you. That, and when we had that discussion, I said it could be a good thing. We're talking about feather, guys, feathers. You're on your journey, you're walking a particular path, and all of a sudden you see a white feather. That's spirit, that's angels, though, protective beings telling you, I am around you, especially if you're going through things. I'm here with you, I'm around you, I'm protecting you. You find a feather, black feather on your path. It's a warning also to say, be careful. Good evening, Marlene. It's saying, be careful. But if you find it in your home, someone in your household is delving into deep black magic, and it's meant to harm you. Okay? It's meant to do you harm. So if you have it in your possession, burn it. Get rid of it, burn it. If you have touched it, just cleanse your aura. You get your frankincense and your myrrh, you get your lemon, and you boil it, and you wash your body. Now, guys, if you're here, if you've been here that long, I lived at this house, and just like it's what's happening in Toronto right now with the real estate market and people raising the rent 100%, that was happening some years ago when I lived in this house. Because the landlord at the time legally couldn't raise our rent by 100%, he gave us notice to leave. But at the time, it was about March, and I said, I'm not moving. I'm not moving before the end of the school year because I moved too much. I moved like 8 times in 5 years. So I decided I'm going to put my foot down. I'm not moving. And I told him, I'm not going to move until my child is out of school. He was lying that he needed for the place for his family, because that's a quick way of getting you out of your property here. The government will allow you to evict somebody because you need a place for yourself. Anyway, because I said I'm not moving, what he did, he took food, roti, and left it on my windowsill. And I came to my door, and the spirit said to me, look over your shoulder. And I looked over, but I've learned now, I'm very disciplined. I know how to listen to that voice because it's small, it's still, and it's distinct. So I looked over my shoulder and I saw it, and the spirit said, don't touch it. My husband was home that day, and I called out to him. I said, this thing on the window, don't touch it. And he said, I saw it, I was going to come and tell you, ask you what that could be. So anyway, it was on the window. I was running a home daycare. So when my parents came, I said, listen, when you pick up the kids and you're going to the door, hold their hands. Don't let them touch the thing on the window. I'm not going to talk to you about it. Just don't let anybody touch it. So anyway, one day I had a knock on my door, and someone from the post office came. A woman said to me, when I opened the door, she jumped back and she said, I knew a Black woman lived here because I came here before. She said, do you remember me? I came here before with something you had to sign for. And I said, yes. She says, so when I came and I saw that thing on your windowsill, I was wondering, why does she have this? It's from my culture. I said to her, what do you mean it's from your culture? What does that mean? She says, oh, someone put it there. It's for spirits. But if you touch it to throw it off there, then spirits, when they come, they'll find you. And I said, what do you mean? Because you see, I took him to court. I won. And the court said, you can't kick her out until when she wants to go in August. Sorry, in June, the end of June. I was ready to move. I didn't have a problem moving. I just didn't want to move in the middle of the school year. And he wanted me out to the point where he was going to use witchcraft on me by putting food that if I touch it. Now, are you telling me that I should live my life not being aware of good and evil? How is that going to save me and help me when someone else is in bondage? When I meet someone who I clearly see, my spirit clearly tells me this person is under spiritual attack. I should let that person die because some other evil person is doing that, and that person is unaware because they live in an environment or in a country that constantly tell people, these things are bad or this is a lie or whatever. People can't free themselves. They cannot be liberated because they don't understand that we are one with nature, that the universe is here and the spirits are here waiting to not just guide us, but to instruct us. And that the scripture is filled with these incantations, filled with these stories, filled with these information, knowledge, that if we had the tool, we would be free, we'd be liberated. Okay? There's so many people walking around in Jamaica, for example, with wicked people going out of their way to do harm to them, and they don't know. They just know something is wrong. Their feelings in their spirit, they know something is off, but they can't put their finger on it, and they continue to do the same thing over and over. Like, for example, lending your money. You can lend money, we can be there for each other, but you lend your money to somebody and they return it to you, and all they did is take it from you long enough to go bring it to some person who does witchcraft and return it to you, and your life is over. Your money fall into your hands like whatever. That's why if you lend your money to anybody, when you receive it, do not bring it to your house. Bring it straight to the bank. Let them exchange it. If you feel like I need my money today, when they give it to you, go and exchange that money. Do not use it. Don't trust anybody. Do not trust anybody, because your money, that piece of paper with those writing and those hidden symbols, those symbols that are on the money, they're spiritual, they're powerful. They are used against you and I, and we have to break free. Okay? Some of the richest people on the planet never touch that thing because their numbers going through an account, transactions, never using that paper. It's very powerful, it's very spiritual. This is why people sell themselves for it. People do all kinds of things for it because what is on it is possessive. But again, it's nature putting pictures of people on it and putting numbers on it. These are all spiritual things. You know what I mean? They're powerful and spiritual things. Okay, let me check what else is here because I'm giving you banishing spells. Somebody sends some negative energy to attach itself to you, and you just don't know. You just know something is wrong. Here, what you have in your kitchen, as you would take for granted: black pepper, cayenne pepper, sea salt. These are powerful agents to release negative energy from your space, whether you use it in water, spring water, or mineral water, or sea water, and you use it to spray your space or wash your floors. It removes negative energy. Okay. Um, Bay leaves, hydrangea flowers and blossom. I'm obsessed with my garden. All my plants are used for products and not just to lift my spirit and my vibration. And I'm telling you, sometimes when you're burning some of these incense, you feel this sense of peace. And then it's not every incense is for every person because people have introduced me to things and with no ill intention, but my spirit guide does not like it. So when I try to light a particular incense, for example, my entire body feels like ants crawling all over it. The energy that it invites does not work well with my spirit. Okay. Um, Cloves, mullein, juniper berry. These are all things you should have into your home to ward off negative energy, negative spirits. Okay. Let's see what else is here because I've gone through this real fast. Okay, so let's see which one. Copper. We were talking about copper earlier on, and I was trying to tell you how powerful this is and how it's something that is found within your own body. That the copper itself has is like an antioxidant. It aids in reducing and slowing down things like aging, but it also alleviates you from negative energy that would seek to attach itself to you. Okay. And it also has spiritual properties. It helps to ground you. I think I showed you guys recently how I go outside barefooted in the summer and how that grounds me. Sometimes I feel off. We all have our off day. We always feel down or for whatever reason. Sometimes we feel depressed and we don't know why. That's because something is bearing on you, that you've come in touch with some negative spirit or negative energy that wants to attach itself to you. And so taking your shoes off and standing outside and grounding yourself is very important. The copper is one of those elements that exist, like I said earlier, in your body. And if you're cooking or putting your food or your juice or whatever in something that has copper, it actually helps you physically and spiritually. Because it helps to ground you and to secure you. Um, it's a spiritual conductor. Now, we're going to go back before I wrap up here. Go back to how do you know when it's a spirit that's talking to you? How do I know that this is not a bad spirit? It's how you feel. So, any spirit that is speaking to you and your mind telling you this or that or whisper in your ear, a spirit that is bad will tell you terrible things. It starts to say, you're not beautiful, or you're not, nobody wants you, or this is not going to happen. Like, forget about this. You're thinking, I want to move. Or why are you going to move right now? If you move right now, this that is going to happen to you. Anything that's negative, it is not a good, clean spirit. If it's something that you're planning to do that is not right, or it's not the right timing, the spirit will speak to you in a way that you do not feel bad. It's a comfort. It's a comforter. The Bible calls it that. The Holy Spirit will come back like a comforter. It's something that when it tells you the truth, you reconcile that within yourself, and you're not going to feel disappointed. You're not going to feel angry. You're going to know, oh yes. So here's an example. I'm dealing with something and it's going to unfold. And when it does unfold, remember this live. I was dealing with someone. I was having some business relationship with somebody. And I had already fired some people because Spirit told me, revealed who they were to me, and they showed that it's true. And so I fired somebody and I hired someone else. But every time I would talk to this person, she was gentle. She spoke nicely or whatever, but my spirit would rail up in me. Every time I get off the phone with her, I feel depressed. And my daughter was the one who pointed it out to me. And she says, Mom, every time you talk to this person, you're in a bad mood afterwards. It's clear that your spirit is saying something to you. And I said, I don't know why. She seems nice. And the spirit told me to test it. And so I said to her, I need some answers on this. I followed the directive of the spirit. I need some answers on this. And her response was just very disrespectful. But she was still hiding the fact that she's a disrespectful person, still pretending to be nice, but I felt it. I felt it and I got rid of her. And after I got rid of her that day, someone knocked on my door. Now I'm thinking, I'm going to be obedient, but now I'm going to have to go start over again to go find someone to do my business. As we still business have to go on. I let her go, but I have to go and find someone. Someone knocked on my door. I kid you not. Person come to my door and say, how can I offer you service in this? This is why, guys, you have to be obedient. Good evening, Brenda. You have to be obedient and you cannot have fear. You cannot have fear. Learn to decipher the voice of God or the voice of your divine guides as opposed to demons or devils. There's a big difference, and you can know. I was a victim of that, lending money. Yes, 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 yes. I gave my money to people in Jamaica and they took it to Obiaman. Not a Obiaman that heals and restores and bless and teach people how to escape from all kinds of stuff. People who are paid and work with demons. Again, when you're going to people, you hear about these priestesses and these prophets. Be careful who you're going to, because who are these priestess and prophets? Who are they praying for? Remember, the only thing Satan cannot do, and the idea of Satan, because that's spirit, the only thing they said the spirit cannot do is blow breath in man. So you have the same energy that is used to build is the same energy that's used to destroy. So when I gave this person my money, this is your birthday, this is family, this is not some stranger. I gave the person the money for the birthday, and listen, they took my money to a Obiaman who does evil. And here's how blessed I am, though. The person comes back to me the day after on his birthday and say, oh, I went to see this man. I said, what man did you go to see? He says, I went to see the doctor. I said, okay, so what is he saying? Because he was having some health issues. And he says, oh, he was saying this, that, and the other. And then when I investigated further, I realized it wasn't a physical doctor. And it wasn't someone who was into herbs. Because I don't have a problem if you go to somebody who spirit gives the ability to heal you with herbs. He didn't do that. He went to somebody who was into deep, dark magic. So using my money to do that, I was so upset. And I went to another family member to say, these are the things why sometimes children are cursed. They don't know what their family is involved with. They don't know what their parents are doing. And you take my money to this person. Now what? Okay. So this is why I'm not lending. I pray to be in a position where I can give. Sometimes even when I don't have it to give, like I told you guys, my YouTube in 9 years, I've never used it for myself. I give it. I don't lend it because I don't have it to lend. If I have to lend it, then there's a chance that you might not be able to repay it. You know what I mean? So if I have it, I give it. But when I exchange money, you're gonna exchange money in the shop, in your business, in whatever, but I exchange it. Or I know what to do to remove any negative energy that might be attached to that money. So this knowledge for me is power. Yes, thank you. Yes, my garden is very functional because it is for the beautification of my space. There's not a day that goes by where someone doesn't stop, take pictures, or ask me questions about it. It's just something that uplifts my spirit. But I also use every plant in that garden for the spiritual use. And all that I learned about plants, I didn't study it anywhere. Spirit came to me. Books and books and books, of things that I've written down. Spirit will come and show me something and tell me what it is. Recently, there's I had a vision, and the Spirit just didn't really say much, just brought me to a plant. And when I woke up, I'm like, so what is that? What is the name of it? How am I going to know where to find this plant? And I literally came down my stairs. I felt like someone say, come. And I'm obedient. I came and I followed. I came through my front door, even in my mind, when I was still in my night clothes. I was saying, you can't be that obedient. You're just getting up and just walking out. I walked out, and the Spirit literally brought me to the space where the plant was. And while I stood there, I'm like, yes, this is it. This is it. But what is it called? I didn't know the name of the plant. So I sent a picture of it to one of my sisters, you know, my journey sister. And she looked at it at first and guessed what it could be. And then afterwards, she said, I think it's this. And when I looked, I saw, yes. In fact, before she even got back to me, the Spirit told me what it was. And I'm like, this thing is growing in my garden. It is so powerful. It is almost scary though. It is, the uses of it is amazing. When I did my research, it is breakthrough. So I'm in that season, and today is very important. I had to do this because Spirit said, talk to the people. Because someone who's listening here needed this message today. Okay. But it's also a liberation from me because it took me 34 years to completely get why I came to Canada, why I had to go through these horrible experiences. And trust me, they were horrible. A lot of horrible, horrible, horrible experiences. But it was preparing me for this time. So all that happened, no one could have helped me except Spirit. All that I endured, painful experiences, losses, shame, fear, all these negative emotions was preparing me for purpose. So if you guys are going through some things, get to a point where you're elevating your prayer life, where you're going and saying, I need to hear from you. Spirit, Holy Spirit, whatever it is you say, I need to hear from you. I need order. I need balance in my life. I need breakthrough because listen, there's nothing that is impossible. Nothing. If it's in your mind, it's a desire. And if it's a desire, it's because it's available to you. There's nothing that you need in life or you're attracted to that is not available. The only reason why you want it is because it's available to you. The only reason why you're feeling connected to this person or to this thing is because they are going to be a part of your destiny. So even in relationships. Now, let me end on this one. Um, there are herbs where if someone is in your space that you want out, there are herbs for it. You burn that plant or you wash your house with that plant and that person is leaving. Something like cloves, cumin, juniper berry. It's just amazing how a plant can do because they speak, they vibrate, their energy. Evil people can't stay around it. If you know you're going to bring somebody into your household, there are certain things that you use before they come. They will not be able to step over your threshold. If they're evil, if they're no good, if they shouldn't be in your space, you use that thing, that plant or that herb, and they'll just say, oh, I forgot something, and just leave. Who doesn't want to know that? Who doesn't want that knowledge or that wisdom? Um, Job tears. These are prayer beads. It's good to keep this. When you see the Catholic using those beads, they're prayer beads. They're very powerful. Okay, they speak. The knives in your household, they speak. For the last few months, my knives have been talking to me, and I'm like finally saying, okay, I get it. I see what you're saying. Now I'm just saying whatever is in whatever is your will for my life, so let it be. I accept. Okay. Now I think there was something I wanted to say and I forgot. Rose that have a different color and for the same roots. That's awful. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, Marlene. A tree. I have a plant out there now that bears 3 different rows. It wasn't like that last year. But again, nature speaks to us. Let's see. A day for fertility, I think. A day, are you still here? What were you talking about for the fertility? Yeah, I'll do the stones. I'll do the note for the stones. Any questions, guys? I had to make these notes and I think I'm forgetting some things. Yeah, get yourself the Job tears to keep it. I feel like I'm forgetting something, guys. Oh yeah. So I'm going to give you some more items. Basil, the basil that you use for cooking. Um, Chamomile, coriander. Listen, the Indian people have some of the most powerful herbs and they use it all the time. So if you live in places where there are a lot of Indian persons and you smell certain scents, those scents are spiritual things. They're spiritual practice that attract certain things to them. That's all I'm going to say for now. Your parsley, never look at your parsley or your mint or your vervain the same way again. Do your research. For your protection, instead of using these expensive perfumes, what you should be using is things like peppermint oil. First of all, it's so soothing. You put it on your chakra, any of the 7 chakra, it's going to elevate that. Your crown chakra, put it on your throne chakra, your sacral chakra. Let's just say you're dating somebody who is not a good person that you shouldn't be messing with. You put it on your sacral chakra, and that person will never get a chance to get close to you in intimate ways. When you wear it before that person comes to your house or you go to their house, all of a sudden something happens, or that person will never get it up, and you'll never get a chance for that person to transfer that bad energy into your body. Women need to understand this thing. A lot of women are walking around carrying demonic spirits in them, whether someone tried to do it deliberate or someone just transferred it to you. And I'm going to wrap up soon again, guys, if you have no questions. This woman that I met was married. And so it's not just random strangers. Sometimes your partner can be your biggest enemy. She was married to this man who always had a fear that she was going to leave him. So the things we fear is the thing we draw to ourselves. For some reason, he always feared she was going to leave him, that he wasn't good enough for her. And so because he feared her leaving him, he took it upon himself and went to see somebody. And the person told him to take her hair and dip it in some substance and blend it with herbs and insert it in her body. I saw her. She used to pick up my children for me because my kids go to daycare until 6, but my hours are much longer than that. So she, I went to pick up my kids and I said to her, "Are you okay?" See, at that time, I still didn't understand certain things spiritually, but I just had this desire, this great urge to ask her if she was okay. And she says, "Yes, I'm okay." And I said, "Are you really okay?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm okay." And I said to her, "I'm going to ask you something very intimate. Are you having any problems down there? Don't ask me why I asked this woman." I was so embarrassed to even ask this lady because when the spirit was saying to ask her, I was like, "I'm not going to ask her." Those days, and I'm still disobedient because there's certain questions I'm afraid to ask. There's certain things I'm afraid to say to people, but I had no choice. I said, "Is everything okay down there?" And she says, "Actually, no. I've been feeling some pain." "Why would you ask that?" I said, "I don't know why." I said, "Maybe you should go to the doctor." When she woke up the next morning, she said all kinds of foul smells were coming. And when she went to the doctor and they examined her, they were pulling out coils and coils of hair that was doing all kinds of stuff that would have blocked her tubes, that would have caused her inside to decay. Her own husband did that. When she confronted him, he confessed. Said, "I was trying to prevent you from leaving." And the person said, "If I did this to you, you wouldn't leave me." That's the kind of world we live in, unfortunately. My journey from Jamaica to this country was met with all kinds of hardship and struggles and victories too, to be honest with you. And today, when I woke up this morning, Spirit came and said to me, "Today, today is that day." Uh, Today is what day? Oh, Spirit said, "You're going live today." I completely forgot, guys. It would have been one of those situations to make a promise and I didn't keep it. I did not remember it. And then the Spirit said to me, "But it's also, it's the real day." The real day. And then the Spirit said Saturday. And I remember that I came here 34 years ago, September 9th, 1989, and it was a Saturday. And people, I did not know this. I just know the Spirit was telling me when I announced that I was coming today that I needed to come here today. But the Spirit said, "Today is that day." And so for me, today is restoration, finally breaking that yoke. And this year, as I said before, that demon, it took me 4 months. And at another time, I'll share more experiences. It took me 4 months to get that out of my house, that spirit that wanted to destroy me. But he said, "He that dwelleth the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Don't let anybody feel like they are more powerful than you and that they can destroy you. No, they can do things to hold you. But once you turn to God, the true and living God, once you put your hands up to the heavens and the heaven is within you and say, "Have your way," and that you make sure no matter what anyone does to you, you never lift a finger to harm them. I have never, ever, people stole my money. I've worked hard in this country, go through all kinds of terrible things, and saved my money to build my house, and someone stole my home. I would never be able to do that again at my age. Someone stole it. And when I decided that I was going to go legal route, which is something I'm very good at, the Spirit said to me, "Who gave you permission? Let it go. Let go and watch the salvation." And I did that. So I'm going to tell you, let go and watch the salvation. I don't care what they did to you. I don't care what you're going through. Just know that the wicked cannot prevail. It might be long. It took me 30 something years to free myself from their witchcraft and their horrible deeds and things that they've done to me. It took me a long time, pain and suffering. But he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Ask that your spirit guides will lead you to truth, will show you, will come to you in your dreams. And when people come to warn you, stop saying, "Oh, God is not giving you any messages. God don't have no, God doesn't have any malice with me." I've heard people say so many times. I bring messages to people and I've heard them and they eat their words. They don't have no shame. If they had their shame, they would have said, "Forgive me," or "I'm sorry," or whatever. I don't need it. They have no shame. But I always ask, do not let me be ashamed. Because I'm not a mischievous person. And if I get shut down, if I get disrespected by people for whatever reason, I just sometimes smile to myself. As I know it's only a matter of time. It's not if, it's when, right? Guys, whatever you're going through, bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that's within me. Bless the holy name. The universe is waiting for your command, is waiting for your instructions, and the Spirit will come and teach you. And listen, they'll come in all forms. This, the Indian, the African, these spirits come to me, the Chinese, it doesn't matter. They come and they show me the herbs. They come and they give the messages. I was out today conducting some business and I was talking to this gentleman. And the Spirit said to me, "Ask him if he's a pastor." I was like, "No, I'm very disobedient sometimes." I'm like, "No, I'm going to ask him if he's a pastor. I'm not going to ask him." I didn't. But on my way home, my husband was also talking to that gentleman when I went into a store. And when I came back, he said to me, "Oh, that man that you were talking to earlier, he's a pastor, you know." I said, "OMG." So that's for me to say, I can trust. This is what the Spirit is saying. You can trust me. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lead you astray, and I'm not going to make you be ashamed. If you listen and you follow my instructions, you are going to be okay. Okay, guys? Anyway, any questions, anybody? Would you like more of these topics? Would you like to, have more of these sessions? This one is kind of all over the place, but I just wanted to make sure I just kind of introduce you to some herbs, some new herbs. You probably never heard about them. You can listen to the live again and you can write them down and search them out. I find so much peace. I get so much comfort in knowing that these things are created for our own purpose, to bless us, to free us, to heal us, to teach us. Patsy, just be careful with your money, guys. That's all I'm saying. Be careful with your money. It has all kinds of things attached to it, energy. Now, I'm not saying I won't lend money, because if I have it, I have my family member. There's someone, my sister that I love very much. If I have it, I would never lend. I would give my family member. There are people that I still care for, that if they're in need, I would be there for them. But I learned certain things. First, you got to take care of your own needs before you can take care of someone else's. It is foolish to give away. Sometimes you're giving gifts that are meant to be used for your own purpose. When you give them away, you're insulting God, because you need it too. You understand? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Hope I didn't ramble on too long. Hope I answered. I'd hate to end this live um, and not tell you. Okay, I noticed I had something here about money one. This is about how Spirit just come and just tell you things. And sometimes I am still, every single day it happens to me, I'm still in awe. Just this week I had a vision and the Spirit just gave me a list. And I said, "Well, what do I do with this list?" I knew the list were numbers. I said, "What should I put them together this way?" But sometimes it's not that I don't understand it. Sometimes I question, and that's the thing, guys. Sometimes you question yourself too much. You second guess yourself too much, and you make the wrong decision because you second guess yourself. So Spirit gave me these numbers, and I need these numbers. I need this thing right now. And I was second guessing myself, but I followed through, and the numbers played, right? But I didn't buy all the numbers. I just bought a few. They played. And I'm trying to tell you that if you listen and you don't allow anybody to tell you that you're insane, or let anybody to tell you that, tell you, oh, this is not going to happen, or this is not going to work out, or that's not true, or whatever. Don't rely on me or anyone else to connect you to God. Find God for yourself. Listen to the spirits. They're teaching you, they're leaving you instruction, they're leaving you advice, they're leaving you warnings. If I come to you and I say something to you and I don't know you, what is the harm in you say, well, what harm is there in me taking a note and paying attention to this? I'm not asking you to go anywhere and do anything bad. What is the harm in listening? Listen to the kids when they speak. Watch the animals. The animals start acting all weird, and you know, pay attention because they speak too. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can leave it for me in the comment section. If you want more of these videos, if this you find it beneficial in any way, there's just tons and tons and tons and tons of things that I could share. And you might have specific question that is relating to your own situation. 30 persons, 32 persons sit around and wait. I feel so blessed. On your way out, if you didn't press the thumbs up, please do so. So after I am done, the live can be circulated and people can come and watch. All right. Adair, I'm going to talk to you soon. Julian, don't know if you're still here. Val, I'm not sure if you're still here. Beeville, Barbara Thomas, Cookie Mama, Jay Brown, Monday, Lady V, bless up yourself, Lady V, Beverly Reed. Learn how to say no, Mama. Learn how to say no. Maybe it's going to be quiet at first. When I first came to Canada, people used to take such disadvantage of me. They would call from Jamaica, call me collect. I couldn't afford to take those collect calls, but I would accept them because I don't want to say no to anybody. And the woman said to me, she says, leave your conscience and bring a bad word. Oh my, I could never bring myself to swear. She says, just tell him to F off. And I was like, no, I cannot do that. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. When I look back now, these persons had no problems hurting my feelings. All of these people that made me feel like they needed me, I don't know any of them or see any of them right now. They have carried on with their life. They were able to let me go. They were free to let me go. They didn't miss me. That was very painful for a long time. Because when I thought, oh, they needed me and I had to be there for them, they did not need me. I was sick. I had to start all over. I was heartbroken and I never saw any of these people. So I know how to say no. And I don't just say no, I can say F off. No, I don't have a problem. I don't let people use me like they used to. And I still believe in sharing and giving whatever I have to other persons. Now I ask Spirit to bring the ones who are in need. And when Spirit brings them to me, I say, if you want me to do this, then you're going to provide me with the opportunity. There are times when, honest, this is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God, that people have put money in my, what do you call it? PayPal. One of my subscribers built that PayPal for me. And I remember one day there's a young lady that was going through something and it was on my heart to assist her, but I didn't know how I was going to be able to do this. And I said, Spirit, if you want me to assist this person, you have to bring the funds on more than one occasion. But in this particular um occasion, the Spirit said to me, go check your PayPal. I'm like, what? I'm not expecting anything random. Just go check your PayPal. And it's not something where I always had money in it. It's something that was empty. And when the Spirit said go, I went and I saw $200 in my PayPal, 200 US. And it was exactly the amount the young lady needed. This was the message from the Most High to say she does need a help. And here, one of my subscribers here put 200. I'm tempted to call your name. I'm going to say your name, Kemar. 200 US dollars. I was shocked. Kemar put that in that account for that young lady. So I want you to know, Kemar, I don't care what's happening around you. You are blessed. And every people like you who have the heart to give always get abused and taken disadvantage of. But if the Spirit can use you to bless me and this young woman, and I never opened my mouth, I didn't come and ask for help because I do it. And I know everyone has their problems, everyone has their financial situations. And so sometimes I don't always come and ask for assistance. But that day, 200 US dollar was sitting in that PayPal waiting. And the young man put it there and did not tell me, did not say a word to me about it. Do you understand? So whenever the universe or the great spirits want you to do anything, they will provide the means for you to do it. Okay, guys? Anyway, guys, I'm going to go now. Oh, so Adea says more of these. More of these. Marsha Foot, okay. You're welcome, Brenda Bryan. Patsy, you're welcome. Okay, there's so much. I'm going to try to tailor it so we can focus because we talked about a lot of things in this one. We talked about like the crystals. We talked about herbs, powerful herbs. You know, the 1, 2, 3 punches. There's so much more there. Listen and be open-minded because God is in all things and all people. And if we're made to connect. Hi, CH Baker. We are meant, the universe is ordered in such a way that, as I said, the energy flows from one to the other. In the hand of the practitioner, thing is good or evil. It's your heart chakra that needs to be balanced, that is unbalanced, that make you do something bad. Okay? So we're all inherently bad. Human beings are not good. We have it wrong. We're not good. We are, and everything is energy. And so, based on our imbalances, whatever chakra needs to be balanced, we will be drawn to do negative things. And negative things happening in your life doesn't mean that you're a bad person, that God doesn't love you or the spirits don't love you. Sometimes it's allowed to happen for you to understand some things. If I didn't live in a shelter, I wouldn't know what it's like to be homeless. If I didn't be in a relationship that was abusive, I wouldn't understand the story and the struggles of women who are abused. If I didn't, see people, have physical violations in their life, I wouldn't understand it. So all of these things, if somebody didn't rob me and make me homeless and force me to go stay in a shelter, I wouldn't know what it's like to say to myself, I'm never going to steal, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to deceive anybody to get their stuff. It prepares me, it helps me to be a better person. And I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, but there's certain things that I will not allow myself to do to others because I know what it feels like. You understand? I know what it feels like. I know what it's like to come to a country where I don't know anybody and find myself homeless on more than one occasion, no fault of my own, going to rent my place and somebody steal my money with a newborn baby and a small child, steal my money and run away with it, and I have nowhere to go and I have to go stay at a shelter. That wasn't any fault of my own, but I saw the power of God. I saw what it was like to give birth to a baby, and my husband is in Jamaica, and I'm supposed to be the one to help him bring him here to join me, and find myself disabled, not being able to walk, had to learn to walk again for 1 year. And during that time, all I did was pray and fast, pray and fast. And let me tell you, the amazing things that the universe, opened up for me. My faith is so deep. If you ever try to tell me that, there is no God, I'll be rude to you. I'm not going to be rude if you say you don't believe. That is your part. It's for you to come to an understanding and eventually find your way. But when you start to tell me that I'm not supposed to believe, or something is wrong with my experience, when I see time and time and time again, my husband sometimes say, I'm afraid of you. He said jokingly, but I think he means it, because there are times when the Spirit reveals things to me that it doesn't stop surprising me. It'll never. It's just so awesome, to people across a mile, and I would have a vision about you, and everything is what I see. But that is not because I'm special. It's not because I'm special. It's just, as the child said, it's not because you're special. It's how God chooses to communicate with you. And so you guys have to open your heart, open your mind, and know that there are different people placed on our journey. Some to bless us, some to heal us, some to bring about negative experiences for us, so that we can be led straight to the source. And that's where I'm at. I'm led straight to the source, people. And I always depend on the Most High for the answers to all of my problems. Right now, I'm going through some things, and I'm sitting here in my hands and I'm folding my arms and I'm looking, I'm saying, I'm watching to see what you're going to do. Because right now, this is impossible, but you deal in the business of impossibility. And when it comes through, I'll be so happy to share with you. All right. So bless up yourself, guys. Have a wonderful night. Jenny stayed for 2 hours. Whoa. Now my mouth is tired. I have to go sleep. Thank you, guys. And when you're ready for another session, if the Spirit doesn't move me first, I'll be here. All right. Bless up yourself, everybody. Good night.